Well, today we are joined by my colleagues at Walsh College, and we are talking about our doctoral program, specifically the Doctorate of Management program. And I'm really excited for all of you to hear highlights about the program and also the real value of getting a doctoral degree. And in fact, I was just looking at some data from the US Census. If you're asking yourself, is a doctorate worth it? Should I get a doctoral degree? In 2000, in the year 2000, 2% of the population in the US had a doctorate. In 2018, this number increased to 4.5%. Now, that's important because people are actually seeing the value, but you're still in the top, I would say, less than 5% of the country of people who are interested in and pursuing a doctorate. So it's an incredible pursuit and achievement. And I want to talk a little bit and hear from my colleagues on the real value and the genuineness of it. First, let's start. Dr. Terry Richards, you teach in the program in the management and in the IT side. And I want to ask you a little bit about why management, specifically why a doctorate of management, and why is this so important in the world?
Good question, and thanks so much. Yeah, you can ask yourself, is management really important? Is that a real job? It's not tangible. You can't touch the results of management. It's not like going to work and working on a line or working on customers necessarily, or even programming or building something and having some output. There is no tangible output because what you're really doing is you're an influencer as a manager. You're going to influence people to get jobs done. And if you don't do it well, you can destroy a business. Poor management is the number one reason that most people leave their jobs. It's not for more money. It's because of poor managers. So if we can harness good management, and don't be mistaken that good management can be difficult to sustain. It's not an easy thing to do. To be a good manager is one thing, and that's hard enough on its own, but to sustain it over the changes in an organization, you need some pretty good arrows in your quiver for that. And we think at Walsh, we can help provide that. We'll tell you some more about the degree program now.
Wow. Terry, that is such a great point because, you said something there I want to highlight. People don't leave jobs, they leave managers, they leave leaders. And, I think about that in my career, and I will tell you that was probably likely the case. And a lot of times I hadn't changed jobs that much, but there were times when you just started to see leadership not stepping up, not stepping in. And you just think, I want to do it better. I want to become a better leader. And we see the consequence of poor leadership. And that's why a doctorate of management that really focuses on the management side, the leadership side, that real personal development side, I believe is important. And you're right, Walsh focuses on helping us lead better. It's like business education to change the world. Well, speaking of changing the world, Dr. Jenny Tatzik. So Jenny Tatzik, you serve as the chair of our marketing and communications department, which, boy, if you're talking about leadership, you can't get any better than communication. They go hand in hand. And also the director of the DM program. Talk to us a little bit about what the DM program helps students do on a very tangible level and on a very course-based level, and why it's important for students in our program specifically and how we help them finish.
Absolutely. The doctoral program here at Walsh is designed for working professionals. And that's much different than other programs that are more theory-based. We are focused on helping our students solve problems, and we're more focused on empowering them to help others solve problems as well. And in doctoral programs, much is written about and much is spoken about how difficult they are. And ours is very difficult. It's challenging. However, our goal is to help you succeed, to help you finish the program. So you will have partners in your faculty and also in your peers in the program. But our faculty is committed to giving you the guidance and the resources to complete your degree.
Yeah, that is really important. I know a lot of people might be asking themselves, boy, if I start this, what if I don't finish? That's always the fear that comes up. And what I love about Walsh's program is it's really designed with completion in mind. It's designed to make the program, make the courses, make the dissertation and the research all part of the work, and the faculty come hand in hand and they walk with you in that so that you can complete it. So you can be confident that when you begin, you have all the tools and resources to complete, which is so important. You said something very important too, Jenny. You talked about, just really the value of empowering people to solve problems. And we know in the world that when you solve problems, you create value. You're able to generate revenue, you're able to create value for companies. And while salary isn't the main reason we do anything in life, right? Because Terry, you talked about it's really leadership. It's really the ability to communicate and to lead teams and to have an impact. When we look at the salary, when we look at the return on investment for doctoral programs, it's very clear. In fact, I was looking at a study done by the Census Bureau in 2011, and they said that with each level of education, salary went up. And it started at a bachelor's was an average of 57,000, and at a doctoral level degree, it was 88,000. So I share this because I think it's important people realize with more expertise in education, consultants, business coaches, mentors, teachers, people that are really doing the business of business create a lot of value. And you'll see that return. And that's the Census Bureau telling us, look at the return on that investment. Dr. Moore, you teach in our program as well, Dr. John Moore, and I want you to talk a little bit about the business world and what you've seen and how it's changed and what you think the DM program at Walsh and doctoral programs in general bring to helping people navigate those changes.
Well, thanks, Susie. It is true that the world that we live in today is significantly different than just a generation ago. The world moves at a much faster pace. The business problems that we confront are far more complex. And think about this, we're simply a generation removed from phones being attached to walls and having to drive everywhere to get things and throwing things in the mail. And the business world has changed as a result too. I mean, if you think back just a generation ago, whether it was a white collar job or a blue collar job, it was all process oriented and very strictly defined. So you'd see an assembly line where everybody would have their spot and line up. But I even recall, 30, 40 years ago, going to large corporations and seeing rows of white collar desks just lined up with inboxes and outboxes. So what we have today is a world that employees are required to do much higher order tasks, and it's more freeform. And this is where management in doctoral education becomes so important, because the nature of this more complex world requires quicker solutions, more precise, and I think the real value of a doctoral degree is the critical thinking skills and the ability to discern in this world of way too much information, what's the wheat and what's the chaff in terms of that information. So if you can get your arms around defining problems, figuring out information, and then coming up with well thought out solutions, you become an incredibly valuable member of any organization.
Oh, so well said, John. And when you said that, I thought, and the confidence we have in ourselves and in our business acumen just goes through the roof. Because if wow, I've actually done it, I've solved the problems, I've studied this. Your point about discerning information, is it valid? Is it reliable? How do I look at a question and really answer it? And how do I make data-driven decisions? That's another piece of value in this program, is that there is an emphasis on really discerning information and making those data-driven decisions to increase the value, to solve the problems, and to be a better leader. So that's outstanding. And then, Vicki Scavone, Vicki, you do a great job at Walsh with working with these students, with academic administration, and really helping the doctoral students through their journey. And you've been at Walsh for a while. So could you speak a little bit about why get this doctoral degree at Walsh? What does Walsh bring to the table? And really what you see as the value add?
Well, Walsh has provided a strong business education for almost 100 years and has furthered the tradition of providing students with a business education that's rich in practice, research, and relative theory. We've taken a personal approach to student support. There is a dedicated advisor that works with students from inquiry to graduation. We have small class sizes.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, when you said that about a dedicated advisor, I'm thinking, how important is that? Because we have to be able to have support. We have busy professionals, we have people that have families and jobs, and you're balancing all that. We met with some of our doctoral students the other day, and I was so impressed by their vision of change in the world. And what they articulated was they are really grateful to have that support. They know they have to get themselves across the finish line. No one's going to do the work for you. No one's going to write the dissertation for you, but we are with you. Your faculty, your advisors are with you. Vicki does an outstanding job of that. And Walsh has been in business for 100 years, almost like coming up on 100 years. We do business well. And so you can have the confidence that this is a degree you can be proud of, and it's a degree of value in the world. And I like the idea that we can change leadership, we can change management, and we can change the world through better education, and especially getting this degree. So thank you very much. I love talking with all of you. You all bring so much, and your dedication to the students and to the Walsh community. And I always say our alumni are living our mission. You know, when people are out there and professionals are out there living that mission in the world, then we know our mission is fulfilled. So thank you, everyone.